your coworkers, and working with others is the next thing I'd like to cover. In your facility, everybody has rights. One of those rights is for people to be different, for there to be diversity in the workplace, cultural diversity. You will experience people from all different walks of life. They may be different ages, they may speak a different language, they may be a different gender, perhaps even a different race. Keep in mind that, like you, they want to be treated with respect and dignity and should be treated as such. There are laws in your facility that protect against discrimination and hold you, as well as others, to this standard. In the same vein, harassment of others because of their cultural differences will not be tolerated. Such behavior has no place in our workplace. And it hurts people, it hurts morale, it hurts staffing, and eventually it hurts the care we provide to our residents. The American with Disabilities Act of 1990, or the ADA, affirms the rights of persons with disabilities to equal access to employment, services, and facilities available to the public. This legislation is a comprehensive mandate for barring discrimination against persons with disabilities, and it provides enforceable standards. So the ADA requires that an employer provide reasonable accommodation for disabled individuals. Examples would include the altering of a facility. Again, keep in mind that in that job description I mentioned essential job duties. If there's something that can be adjusted that will allow this individual to work within the environment, the facility will do all that it can. And that's the American with Disability Act's role, to make sure that if it's non-essential or if it can be adjusted, that it is, so that everyone who's capable of performing the essential functions of the job have the opportunity to do so. Now, when working with others, the importance in you being your best and they being their best is key. And drug testing at the time of employment, or even during employment, is one way of making sure that everybody's working in a safe manner. And human resources will oftentimes have in the policies and procedures around drug testing. But if a worker is suspected of being impaired due to illegal use of drugs or alcohol, the facility may take action. And that's something you should expect. And again, it's to protect everybody's right. Talk with your supervisor or your human resource department for more information. Also, something to be aware of is everyone has challenges in daily life, and there are programs that are offered within many facilities that are free of charge. You may have heard of the EAP, or the Employee Assistance Program. Now, this is a program that you might find helpful for discussing such things as family issues. Perhaps there's drug and alcohol issues, psychological issues. Could be for yourself, it could be for your family members. You can certainly touch base with your human resources area or your supervisor for your EAP contact, but this is a great resource. What's so key, because I know of many people that have used this service, is that no one will know, other than those you tell, that you've used this service. So we're all stressed day in and day out within our jobs. This is a nice resource for you to know about, since it's not reported to your facility. It is your right to be free of harassment and abuse in the workplace. So regardless of who you are, be it a patient, a resident, a staff member, your rights remain. There are a couple of things I want to share with you around harassment and abuse so that you can be informed. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 defines sexual harassment in the workplace, and it not only involves unwelcome sexual advances or requests for sexual favors, but contact of a sexual nature if submission is either an actual or implied condition of employment. If submission or rejection is used as a basis for making employment-related decisions, or the conduct interferes with work performance or creates an offensive work environment. Perhaps you have heard others talk of abuse by a client or a coworker. Harassment is a form of abuse. Now here are some examples. Pictures, calendars, offensively sexually related language, indecent exposure, offensive touching. Your facility will have procedures around these things, whom to go to, what steps to follow. You have a right to work in a harassment-free environment, but it's also your responsibility to take the steps that you need to take according to the policies and procedures of your facility. Keep in mind, it's tempting when things are happening to gossip or to talk to somebody else about it. Gossip and complaining will not resolve an issue around something like this. Follow the procedures laid out by your facility and bring your concerns forward so that it can be taken care of. If they don't know, they can't help. To wrap things up in this lesson, I'd like to talk last about giving care to the caregiver, giving care to yourself. There are some things that you can do. This job is stressful. It can be demanding. You give a lot, you need to give back to yourself the best that you can. Take care of yourself. If you recognize things that cause you stress or upset, make sure you take that information forward. That's the first rule. Again, like said before, if they don't know, they can't help you. If you have personal conflicts with others, do something about it. If you can't let it go. It's true, you don't always have to like everybody that you work with, but you do have to work with them. Here are some ideas. Talk with the person in a private place out of earshot of others. That'll put them not on the defense, and that'll keep things solution focused. If you can't resolve it, you may want to ask a supervisor for advice. Maybe ask them to mediate the discussion. There are also some coping mechanisms you can do to take care of yourself. One of them is time management. Are you scheduling time for you? Something that I would oftentimes do is turn off the radio and take my drive home from work as my time. Scheduling 10 minutes of downtime for you can be enough to help you process your work and then put it aside. In fact, my imagination would be that once I got home, I would take all those problems, imagine them as balloons, and let them go and say, that's my ground rules. I'm home, no more thinking about it. Home support systems, speaking of home, can be helpful. Perhaps there's someone you can talk to about your stressors or concerns at home. So if that works for you, do it. Maybe set aside check-in time. I know of another staff member who says at 9 o'clock at night, once the kids are in bed, that she has 10 minutes to talk to her spouse or significant other about her day. They have that time, and she knows she has a place to discuss her workday and someone to do it with. And don't forget that your fellow workers have some of the same stressors. Reach out to them at breaks. Maybe they have ideas, and I always say, if you go to a colleague or you go to a coworker, make sure you go to them with, I either want to just talk about it or I'm looking for a solution. Let them know what you'd like from them, and oftentimes they have great ideas for you. To summarize, in this lesson, we've talked about your rights as the caregiver. We've talked about what you can do, what you need to know, and how to act to provide care for yourself, as well as to do what's best for your patients. Your job is to be familiar with your rights and handle any concerns you have in a proactive and positive manner.